Everyone thinks being broke is embarrassing, but loud budgeting. Why saying, "I can't afford that," out loud went viral proves the opposite. Admitting you're broke is now the ultimate flex. But here's the question almost no one stops to ask. Where did loud budgeting actually come from? Not a finance class, not a spreadsheet. It came from a joke. A comedian named Lucas Battle posted it at the end of 2023, listing his ins and outs for the new year. Quiet luxury was out. Loud budgeting was in. Within weeks, the phrase was everywhere. People said it at dinners, in group chats, at the register, and the story we told ourselves felt good. Finally, we thought, people are being honest about money. No more pretending. No more fake confidence. Just the plain truth, said out loud. That's the version everyone repeats, and it's the version that made it spread. But it isn't the whole story, because the trend didn't rise on its own. It rose as a reaction to something else entirely. And once you understand what it was reacting to, the honesty starts to look like something older, something you've been doing your whole life without noticing. You've felt it yourself, probably more than once, and the answer sits closer to home than you'd like. Think about the last time you turned something down. The dinner you couldn't justify, the trip everyone else booked, the gift you quietly decided against. There are two ways to do that. The first is silent. You just don't go. You give a soft excuse, change the subject, let it pass. Nobody knows the real reason. The second way is loud. You announce it. I can't afford that. You say it plainly, almost proudly, and you watch the reaction. Here's the thing worth noticing. The words are the same. The balance in your account is the same. But the second version does something the first one doesn't. It performs. It puts your restraint on a stage. It turns a private limit into a public statement. And that small shift from doing to declaring is the entire trend, not the saving, the saying. Ask yourself which one you reach for, because most people don't reach for silence anymore. They reach for the announcement. And once you hear it in yourself, you start hearing it everywhere. And the more you notice it, the harder it is to unnotice. To see why, go back more than a century. In 1899, an economist named Thorstein Veblen described something he called conspicuous consumption. His idea was simple and uncomfortable. People don't buy expensive things only to enjoy them. They buy them to be seen owning them. The car in the driveway, the label on the bag. The point was never the object. The point was the signal. Look what I can afford. For 100 years, that was how status worked. You climbed by displaying. More visible, more expensive, more obvious. And for a while, quiet luxury pushed back on that. Expensive things with no logos. Wealth so secure, it whispered instead of shouted. But whispering is still a signal. It just moved the flex to people who already had everything. People fluent enough to recognize the unmarked and the rare. And that left everyone else needing a new way to compete. A way that didn't require the money at all. That's the door loud budgeting walked through. The rules of the game hadn't changed. Only the players who could afford to play the old way had shrunk to a tiny few. So watch what actually happened. The signal didn't disappear. It flipped. For a century, status came from showing what you could buy. Now it comes from announcing what you refuse to buy. Same stage, same audience, same quiet hope that someone is watching and approving. Only the costume changed. Yesterday, virtue looked like the newest thing on the table. Today, it looks like the empty chair you left there on purpose. And notice how good it feels to say it. That flush of righteousness when you decline. That's not an accident. It's the same reward your brain used to get from the purchase, rerouted to the refusal. Researchers have a name for this move: counter-signaling. When enough people can fake wealth, the confident play is to signal in reverse. To broadcast that you don't need it at all. It looks like humility. It functions like a flex. And almost nobody notices the swap, least of all the person making it. The genius of it is that the reversal is invisible from the inside. You feel principled, not performative, right up until the audience leaves. None of this makes loud budgeting bad. Talking openly about money can break real shame. For a generation raised to hide every struggle, saying the words out loud can feel like oxygen. That part is genuinely good and worth protecting. But be honest about the mechanism underneath, because there's a difference between telling the truth and performing the truth. One sets you free, the other just builds a new cage with nicer bars, and the tell is simple. Ask what happens when no one is around to hear it. If the discipline only appears when there's an audience, it was never discipline, it was theater. The private version and the public version look identical from the outside. Inside, they run on opposite fuel. One is powered by your values, the other is powered by their reaction. And the second one runs out the exact moment the crowd looks away. That's the crack that always shows eventually in every performance. Real values don't need a witness. They hold at 2 a.m. in an empty apartment with your phone face down. Because performance always needs a stage, and stages are always temporary. Here's where it gets personal. Because the same trap has a much older, quieter version, and you've probably lived inside it. It's not about a viral phrase, it's about who you become when the phrase fades. Picture two people saying the exact same sentence. "I can't afford that." The first says it for the room. They want the nod, the respect, the sense of being the responsible one. When the room empties, so does the resolve. The second says it for themselves. No audience, no post. Just a quiet line they hold on a Tuesday when nobody would ever know if they crossed it. Both said 4 identical words, but only one of them was actually budgeting. The other was auditioning. And the unsettling part is how easy it is to be the second person while believing you're the first. That's the real question this trend forces on you. Not whether you say it, whether you'd still say it alone. And most of us, if we're honest, have been both people, sometimes in the same afternoon. Watch what the performance quietly costs you. When your restraint depends on an audience, your choices stop being yours. You start declining things you actually wanted, not because they were wrong for you, but because refusing looked good. You skip the dinner that would have deepened a friendship. You pass on the course that would have changed your year. You turn thrift into a personality, and slowly the personality starts making your decisions for you. This is the hidden cost nobody posts about. A life optimized for how your spending looks instead of what your spending is for. Money was supposed to be a tool. Under performance, it quietly becomes a scoreboard again, just flipped upside down. And a scoreboard you're always watching is a scoreboard that's always watching you back. The person trapped by showing off and the person trapped by showing restraint are standing in the very same cage. They just decorated it differently and hung different words on the wall. That's the trap dressed as freedom. It hands you a leash and calls it a choice. And you rarely feel the bars closing, because from where you stand, it all looks like good sense. Now look at how people who stay steady with money actually think. It's almost boring. They don't announce their limits, and they don't hide them either. The decision simply isn't dramatic. They ask a plainer question. Not how will this look, but does this fit the life I'm building? If it fits, they spend without guilt. If it doesn't, they pass without a speech. No performance in either direction, because their sense of worth was never on the table to begin with. That's the difference the trend hides from you. Loud budgeting still ties your identity to a purchase decision. It just moved the identity from the yes to the no. The calm version cuts the string entirely. Spending and not spending stop being about you. They go back to being about the choice in front of you. And a choice you're not defending to anyone is a choice you can finally make clearly. You stop performing wealth. You stop performing thrift. You just live and let the numbers serve the life instead of the other way around. No speech to give, no post to write, no reaction to wait for. Just the next honest decision and then the one after that. There's a reason this hooks us so hard. Most of us learned money in a house full of unspoken rules. Some of us watched it be flaunted. Some watched it be feared. Either way, we absorbed the same lesson early. That money is about how you're seen. Psychologists who study these inherited beliefs find they usually form before you're even old enough to earn a dollar. They run silently for decades, shaping choices you're certain are rational. So when a trend hands you a socially approved way to be seen through money, it doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like relief. Finally, a script everyone applauds. But a script is still a script. And the deepest one running here isn't about spending or saving at all. It's the belief that your value is something you have to keep proving to the room. Change the trend. And that belief just finds a new costume to wear. It was never really about the money. It was about the eyes you imagined were always on you. You inherited the audience before you ever chose it. So how do you tell which one you're doing? There's a simple test, and it's uncomfortable. Before you announce a no, pause and ask one question. Would I still make this exact choice if no one ever found out? If the answer is yes, you're budgeting. Keep going. If the answer wobbles, if some part of you needs the credit, you've caught the performance in the act. That pause is the whole practice. Not a spreadsheet, not an app, just a quiet second of honesty before the words leave your mouth. And you don't have to stop saying them. Sometimes talking about money openly really does help someone else feel less alone. The point isn't silence. The point is knowing why you're speaking. When the reason is you, say it freely. When the reason is applause, just notice that and let the choice stand on its own without the announcement. Do that a few times, and something quietly shifts. The audience starts to matter less. The goal isn't to go silent. It's to become someone whose choices don't depend on being watched. Say it 100 times, and you stop hearing the crowd at all. Because here's what the crowd can never actually give you. Every signal, loud or quiet, is a request. It asks the room to tell you who you are. Buy the expensive thing, and you're asking to be seen as successful. Announce the refusal, and you're asking to be seen as wise. Both hand the verdict to someone else, and a verdict on loan can be recalled at any moment. The people who feel genuinely secure with money share one unglamorous trait. They stopped submitting the request. They decided what their money was for, in private, and stopped needing a reaction to confirm it. That's not louder, it's not quieter, it's just settled. And settled doesn't trend, because there's nothing left to perform. You can't make a viral moment out of a decision you're not asking anyone to witness, which is exactly why the calmest people with money are almost never the ones talking about it online. Approval is the one currency that loses all its value the second you have to keep asking for it. So here's the truth. The trend was built to hide. Loud budgeting isn't the opposite of showing off. It's showing off wearing humbler clothes. The flex didn't die. It just learned to sound like virtue. And the moment you see that clearly, the whole game loses its grip, because you realize the goal was never to be the loudest saver in the room. It was to reach the point where the room stops deciding what you're worth. Real discipline was always quiet, not secret, not ashamed, just quiet, because it never needed a witness to be real. Here's the line worth keeping. Discipline that needs an audience was never discipline. Say the words when they help someone. Just stop needing the applause that comes after. The freedom was never in being heard. It was in no longer needing to be. You were never meant to win the room. You were meant to stop auditioning for it. That single shift changes everything about how spending feels. The quiet was the point all along. Everyone thinks being broke is embarrassing. Loud budgeting told us the opposite, that saying it out loud is the flex. But the real freedom is quieter than either one. It's the day you can say, "I can't afford that," or say nothing at all, and feel exactly the same either way. No performance, no audience, no score to keep. Just a choice that finally belongs to you. And no one else ever needs to know you made it.